Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of July 20th, 2025. I'm thrilled to invite you to the Revolution Rising Astrology for the Zeitgeist free online summit happening August 8th through 10th. This is going to be a fantastic summit with 19 astrologers, including myself, and we each prepared a 30-minute presentation packed with insights that you can start implementing in your life. I talked about eclipses, and there also will be roundtable events with us talking together about what we're seeing in this new world where all of the outer planets are now entrenched in new signs. So there's a lot of changes and things that you can be looking and aware of that can help you navigate this new world. The link is in the show notes to sign up today. Next, let's take a look back at some astrology in action. There is so much going on. I will just talk about a few things that are related to Mercury Retrograde. Now, I record the podcast always early. Right now, it's the 16th of July, which is a Wednesday. So I do not know all the events that have transpired. But a big theme of this July, which includes 3 retrogrades. We had Neptune go retrograde and then Saturn go retrograde, both in Aries. And retrogrades pull back the tape so that we can see what's underneath. And one of the things that happened right after Neptune went retrograde was the Trump administration said, nothing to see here. Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. There's no list. There's no blackmail. End of story. And the MAGA faithful are not having any of it, and it is escalating. Just today, the day before Mercury officially goes retrograde, Donald Trump called his supporters who want the Epstein list to be released, who want the prosecution of these child molesters. He called them stupid and said he doesn't want their support anymore. With retrogrades, disagreements, conflict, and telling people what you really think can be one of the manifestations of the transit. So he is going off, and it's just going to get more and more intense. So as you're watching, if you see what he's saying, he is going to get 2 more hits to his Pluto in his 12th house. He has it at 10 degrees of Leo, and there is going to be 2 more coats of paint on that. So self-undoing through dramatic proclamations or talking about power dynamics is something that could be coming up. I would not be surprised if the file is released by someone. We shall see. I don't know if it'll be during this Mercury retrograde, but I think it will be before February 26, 2026, when Saturn and Neptune meet. Saturn and Neptune meeting speaks to the architecture of deception. And it's crumbling down at 0 degrees of Aries. Actually, it's like being burned on fire. We're seeing behind the curtain and all of the things that go on. It's all part of Pluto in Aquarius and this time that we're in. And the Epstein files, this memo came out on the day Uranus entered Gemini. A bombshell memo. Gemini rules paperwork of all kinds, communications. Uranus is sudden events that have the impact of an earthquake. Today, Israel started bombing Syria as Mercury is stationing. This is very concerning when violence starts to break out around a retrograde. There can be a lot of mistakes made and intensity that's not called for. War is always disturbing as innocent people are impacted by the decisions of our leaders. And my heart goes out to these people who have had so much tragedy over the last decade plus. Farm workers are on strike from July 16th through 18th. One of the themes of Mercury retrograde is Mars is conjunct the South Node as the planet changes direction in the sign of Virgo. So this is so literal. Mars is energy and effort. Virgo rules farms and farmland and is conjunct the South Node, which is a drain. The workers are going on strike because they're upset about pay conditions. Leo, where the sign Mercury is retrograde in, rules recreational events. And the Tomorrowland Festival's stage burned down, 75% of it. This is in Belgium. There was supposed to be a festival this weekend. I don't know if they're going to be able to continue to go on without this part of the stage, but they think it was a problem with fireworks. Be so careful with candles, fireworks, anything related to these topics. Yesterday was Sun Square Chiron, so that would have been Saturday. And I don't know if a leader left stage left or a celebrity, so that could be a story that you're reading about this morning. And when I said Israel bombed Syria today, I'm recording this on the 16th of the month. The Birthdate Company makes amazing products, and I am a proud affiliate. I especially love the Birthdate book. It's a fully personalized, beautiful, and unique reading of your birth chart with over 70 pages of detailed horoscope analysis. It is such high quality. I absolutely love it. They also make amazing birthday candles. You can get it for yourself or as a gift for someone else. So check out the store and use my coupon code Celeste10 for a 10% discount. Go to bit.ly/3PW3NFM. You can find that in the link in the show notes. Enjoy. The theme of this week is sacrificial lambs, and there are three big things I want you to think about as you navigate this week. The first is that there is a road to Damascus chart pattern in the sky. I have started naming chart patterns that I see, and sometimes I get a real feel about the energy. Now, I talked about this when I did a Mercury retrograde in Leo video for my YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing more and more on YouTube. So please subscribe and comment on the channel if you enjoy it. I did a very comprehensive discussion about Mercury retrograde, how it's already been showing up, some predictions about what could be coming next. And I hope you enjoy it if you listen to it. But I talk about this road to Damascus chart pattern. It's this mini grand trine in the sky. And Uranus on July 7th came in to form it. where Uranus is making a trine, smooth, easy flowing energy to Pluto. Uranus is now in Gemini. Pluto is in Aquarius. These are both air signs. You can think about Uranus and Gemini as mind shattering information that changes your conception of Pluto in Aquarius, which is the themes are coming up about conspiracy or secrets being unearthed in the collective Aquarius. And they're both making a sextile to Neptune in Aries, which is popping the balloon of fantasies that you'd had in your life, in your mind. Neptune rules propaganda. Aries rules sharp objects. It's like pop the balloon. And what happened was Saul, who later became an apostle, at first he was a prosecutor of Christians. And then on his way to Damascus, he had a spiritual experience where he was actually blind for 3 days and the veil of deception fell away from his eyes. And then he had a religious conversion and a spiritual awakening. So I see this is what many in the Magaverse are going through, where their conceptions of this whole thing, apparently this Jeffrey Epstein stuff was something that there was a lot of obsession about and promises made about how these people were going to be prosecuted. And then they're told there's nothing to see here. So it's mind shattering. And then they start thinking about everything they've been told and looking back. And because Pluto and Neptune are both retrograde, so rewinding the tape and seeing what's really down on the road to Damascus that they missed on their as they first stepped over this ground. And people are leaving the flock. So we shall see. This is part of why it's called sacrificial lambs, because I think Ghislaine Maxwell is going to be pardoned this week. And this is really, and she might have already been pardoned, but I don't know. But if she is, this is going to blow their minds wide open. Uranus and Gemini trining Pluto. There's this easy flow of revolutionary ideas and profound transformation in the collective. The sextile to Neptune and Aries, and Saturn's there now, right now, offers the opportunity to dissolve illusions, clarify reality, and courageously move forward with a new understanding. What divine revelations are you getting? Will we see during Mercury retrograde, maybe some of these ice agents say, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not snatching people out of hotel rooms who are just working or on the fields from the farm or snatching people off the street and all this kind of stuff, and say no more. So see if you see that. But think about in your own life, what veils of deception have been falling away? Where are you seeing the collective in a different way, an awakening to truths that may have been hidden or obscured in the past? The next thing I'd like to make you aware of is that Leo season is July 22nd through August 22nd. The sun is at home in its home sign where it can do what it does with ease, which is radiate creativity, self-expression, confidence. It's warm and inviting energy. There's going to be a lot of intense heat. So really always have water in your car. Can you imagine you're driving somewhere and you have a car trouble and it's sweltering and you have no hydration? And this is going to be a fascinating transit to watch unfold, because as soon as the sun moves into the sign of Leo, fiery Leo, it sextiles Uranus in Gemini. There's an opportunity for innovative, creative thought where somebody's creating a masterpiece. I hope it's me. And I hope you do too, if that's something you want. But this energy invites innovation, spontaneity, freedom, and expressing your individuality. You may get sparks of insights from conversations that you have with people or things you read or coming out of your brain. I think that this part of this is going to be a spotlight on the Epstein files. The administration is also trying to get access to state voter rolls, which is totally concerning. The federal government should not be involved in state elections. And there may be a reporting. The Sun spotlights things on more on the dismantling of the Board of Education. Gemini rules things like the names on a roll, education, especially primary school education, and young children. So that's why I'm saying the Sun sextile Uranus in Gemini. And Leo has associations with children as well. So Leo and Gemini talking, children are in focus. The Sun is also trine Saturn and Neptune in Aries when it goes in both retrograde. So it's spotlighting things from the past. How can you balance your dreams with some discipline? Dreams Neptune with some discipline Saturn. What commitments do you want to revisit about your creations? Where can you step into leadership more responsibly? And consider, are you an armchair astronaut? Are you sitting from your chair thinking about how you'd like all these great things to happen, but not doing anything? If so, this is a great time to get out your pen and paper and create a plan for how you're going to take action, especially after Mercury goes direct. A tough aspect potentially is the Leo Sun goes opposite Pluto next in Aquarius. Leo is the performer, Aquarius is the audience. And with Pluto in Aquarius, the audience may be booing, like the president of the United States was booed at a FIFA match. Great time to let go of outdated self-conception and think about how you hold back for fear. What are your subconscious fears about how people outside of yourself will consider your creations? Oppositions come from other people. There's an opportunity to face your shadow so that your authentic light can shine even brighter. Now, Pluto can have a dimming effect. So dimming the sun, meaning that you can think about how you silence yourself out of fear. You're dimming yourself. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that we have a new moon at 2 Leo. So the new moon is opposite Pluto. So there's so much going on. There's so much packed new energies, planets in new signs at 0 to 2 degrees. Uranus is at 0, Saturn's at 1, Neptune's at 2, and then Pluto's at 2. This is the Leo, Aquarius, Aries, Gemini, all fire and air. Fire and air is, whew, these are yang energies. There can be a lot of intensity in group dynamics. Now, with Mars conjunct the South Node, Mars is in Virgo, and so is the South Node. Virgo is like land. It's especially, I feel like it's the mutable stuff on top of land. Taurus is earth, and Capricorn is structures on land or mountains. So these are how we can think about the earth signs a little differently. So I think there's going to be a spotlight of people looking at communities that have been devastated by moving earth all over the world, but we're really seeing it in the United States, especially in some places like in Texas that was in the path of solar eclipses, that Kerr County, where there are these floods. And then Texas had a town flooded. And then North Carolina, New Mexico, Chicago, China, Moscow, New Jersey, New York City has like water flowing into the subways. All over the world, we're seeing excessive flooding, and it's not surprising because we have Jupiter in the water sign of Cancer. And it's trine the North Node. It's applying to the North Node in Pisces. These are both water signs. So you can see, and Cancer rules homes, and Pisces is like that mutable water flow of rivers. Right now, they're 9 degrees away, and they are going to continue to get closer and closer as we get to eclipse season in September. So weather problems with tons of water could continue to be a story going forward. And with all the fire energy, communities are being displaced by fire. And people are still not opening their eyes. Climate change is here, and it feels like it's escalating. Jupiter in Cancer trine Neptune and Pisces is also like really beautiful energy to connect in with your emotional body, your intuition. Can you believe that your dreams can come true if you put in the effort? With the sun in Leo, this is a great time to really connect into with yourself and your heart-centered fire. The sun and the moon are both at 2 degrees of Leo. This is the 5 of Wands tarot card. Now, this is a card of conflict, competition, and strife, but I feel like it's internal, it's within you. A mature woman keeping up with the times, having her hair bobbed, is the Sabian symbol. If that's not just Lane Maxwell, I don't know who is, but this could be about trying to keep up with trends, a younger attitude, asserting independence. Also could be external fashion disguises inner emptiness. That comes from Linda Hill's Sabian Symbols book. Notice if there is a woman who you see with her hair bobbed, like as a new haircut, or you see him on the TV exited out of a job. But this new moon is intense, opposite Pluto. I mean, there can be a lot of internal rumblings inside yourself where your subconscious fears are available for you to examine and get words to with Mercury retrograde. And especially about you shining your own light. This new moon phase family begins on July 24th at 2 degrees. The sun and the moon are both at 2 degrees of Leo. The first quarter moon of this cycle, 9 months from now, so you can put like a stake in the ground for where do you want to be when the sun in Taurus, and Taurus rules resources, is squaring the moon in Leo. They're both at 3 degrees on April 23rd of 2026. So maybe you can think about, okay, if I create something now, 9 months from now, what do I want the income to be generated from this? Or you can think about Taurus also rules self-esteem. How do I want to feel internally about what I started 9 months ago? 9 months from then, there'll be the full moon where there's this theme of all is illuminated. So that's in 18 months from now. It will be June 22nd, 2027. The moon will be back at 2 Leo and the sun will be in Aquarius. How is the audience, Aquarius, responding to what you have created, Leo? The last quarter moon of this cycle, where the sun is in Libra and the moon is in Cancer, is on October 22nd, 2027, both at 29 degrees. So we move at the end of this from the fixed signs fix Leo back into cardinal, initiating Cancer at a degree of crisis and decay. And Libra is an air sign, and air communicates. And this is like lessons learned, karma rewarded. There's going to be this theme, maybe internally, about like, ooh, I'm done with what I started, or I need to bring someone in to partner with me to go to the next steps, Libra, in order for us to grow more. These could be some themes about what you see coming up over this 27-month moon phase family where you have pivot points every 9 months. If you are embarking on a new journey, experiencing a major life event, feeling stuck, trying to make a difficult decision, or just looking to make positive changes, astrology can provide life-changing insights. There are several ways to work with me. You can come for a 60 or 90-minute astrology consultation depending on your needs. Engage in longer-term cosmic success coaching where we work together on a 3-month basis to help you overcome blocks, improve your life satisfaction, build better relationships, accomplish your career goals, and understand yourself better using the tool of astrology. Or mystic mentoring if you're an aspiring astrologer and want help with chart analysis techniques. Go to astrologybyceleste.com to check out my offerings. If you have any questions, you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com. On Sunday, the word of the day is whirlpool. We start the week with a Gemini moon at 3:21 a.m. Pacific time. Really notice how you feel when you wake up or when you notice the moon is in Gemini, because this will be the first time the moon, which rules the emotional body, meets Uranus in Gemini. So moon Uranus, some people are going to be having excitement, upheaval. Like this could be you're at breakfast and like your kids are just, because Gemini rules children, just out of control at the kitchen table, joking, laughing with each other, maybe even throwing some food. Can you join in on the joy rather than be a buzzkill, as long as no one's going to get hurt? On this day, Mars is conjunct the South Node at 19 degrees of Virgo. Mars conjunct the South Node are themes of you expanding energy and not getting anywhere. There was a video I saw on Instagram where a guy in Brazil, a tourist, dug himself into a hole of sand on the beach, and it was started to become like quicksand, and he couldn't dig himself out. He is so lucky there were people there. It took them 3 hours to rescue him. They had to get rope to get him out. So think about, do not dig your own grave with what you're saying. Yeah, you can think about that with themes. And Mars has associations with dogs or biting insects. So especially dogs that are like for protection or for fighting. So just be extra careful around dogs on this day. There's a higher possibility for dog bites and bee stings and all this kind of stuff leading up to this transit. Or you can have fun with your kids. Like you can whirling around in circles really feels like Uranus and Gemini, like a kid spinning in circles. On Monday, the word of the day is leniency. There's a balsamic moon, which is the last phase of the moon cycle. Each phase lasts 3.5 days, and the moon is emptying out all of her light at 2:30 a.m. Pacific time. And then the moon meets Venus at 19 Gemini. So everybody's kind of concentrated on this woman or gift or relationship It'll be really interesting to see how this shows up. This is the president's North Node. I think he's going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, likely Sunday or this day, or maybe he did it Friday to get people juiced up about it over the weekend. But with Mercury retrograde, they are not going to stop talking about it, and he is going to get more and more furious. The retrograde suggests that this topic is going to just keep coming up and people are not going to let it go. And the moon squares Mars. So it's like he pardons her and then the people are furious. And then Venus is squaring the node. So Venus in Gemini square the North Node in Pisces or the South Node in Virgo. This could also be somebody else or something else, but the president, he's going to be in focus with this. And Venus rules the U.S. midheaven, which also stands in for the president. So he's at a choice point with a relationship. And I mean, it could be Pam Bondi, that her time to go is up, or someone else, or there's just like a decision that needs to be made. And unfortunately, I hope it's not about war and peace, but we shall see what it is. In your own life, if somebody says something to you you don't really like, asks you a question, can you think about how you can answer with compassion with the North Node in Pisces versus being too critical with the South Node in Virgo? On Tuesday, the word of the day is benefactor. So the sun will be going through that 29th degree of Cancer, a degree of crisis and decay, but Carol Rushman calls this the millionaire's degree. There's an unusual amount of millionaires that have their suns at 29 Cancer because it's so fertile, so wanting to grow things. That's Cancer energy. I wrote down the Fertile Crescent, which is the land between rivers. Like we can think about the Tigris and the Euphrates, the Fertile Crescent of civilization. The Cancer moon begins at 5:25 a.m. Pacific time. And I just got the song, Here Comes the Rain Again in my head. And then the sun enters Leo. So the moon is in Cancer, and then the sun enters Leo and into its home sign. It's like the leader says, I am Lord thy God, this is my land, and you shall do what I told you. Leo rules royalty, performers, the golden child. Shadow Leo can be haughty and arrogant. High road Leo is creative, warm, and vibrant. And then the moon, this is the people. Cancer rules common everyday items. And then it squares Saturn and Neptune retrograde. So there's some kind of disappointment internally and emotionally that people are feeling. And then the moon meets Jupiter. Who is going to be the benefactor? Jupiter rules benefactors that helps people get over this disappointing hump. Or who can I run to? That song is in my head now. The sun in Leo will sextile Uranus in Gemini. So there'll be a spotlight on Uranian things. Uranus rules sudden upheaval. It's a great awakener. It's like an alarm clock goes off. I wrote down Israel. I think Israel is going to be a big story because the new moon is conjunct their natal moon. I mean, they're a big player in the world right now with all of this craziness. There could be something about Netanyahu. He's losing support. The Orthodox people, there's an Orthodox part of the party. They are out. This is Wednesday. I haven't had a chance to read the story, but it's the 16th when I'm recording this. On Wednesday, the word of the day is ambush. This is the day Venus in Gemini squares Mars and Virgo, both at 21 degrees of their respective signs. Venus in Gemini is like two women going down the street. They could even be twins. They're just having a nice, lighthearted conversation, witty repartee, or it could be a couple. And then Mars in Virgo, like somebody who's like mad and irritated, like just happens to cross their path and call someone a name. There's like this energy of conflict. This also could be someone's writing a creative story and they're in the editing phase, critical about what they've written. But this is a great Virgo can separate the wheat from the chaff of what the Gemini has been written. So somebody could create a masterpiece with this, but there's also energy for conflict. So be mindful about getting in fights leading up to Wednesday, or taking someone down ambush alley where they weren't expecting it. On Thursday, the word of the day is surveillance. The moon squares Chiron on this day. And then, so people are feeling a little bit wounded. And then the Leo sun is trine Saturn retrograde in Aries. So there's something about easy flowing energy around a authority Saturn that Saturn's in fall in Aries that's doing something that's just way too excessive in amount of force. Aries can be conflict. And maybe we may be looking at a surveillance video of something. Then the moon enters Leo at 8:28 a.m. Pacific time. And then the Leo sun trines Neptune retrograde at 2 degrees of Aries. So Saturn and Neptune are both conjunct in Aries, and the sun is shining a light on them. It's like, ooh, it's a spotlight. I get traffic stop. The new moon at 2 degrees of Leo at 12:10 p.m. Pacific time. So we may be watching surveillance footage of a huge conflict that has gone on Wednesday or Thursday. That's the story of the Leo new moon that starts at 12:10 p.m., where we have first the moon opposite Pluto and then the sun opposite Pluto retrograde at 2 degrees of each of the signs. I got the image of someone looking up someone's skirt. Pluto can obscure things. The Leo sun is represented by celebrities. I mean, Jennifer Lopez, I think her sun is right there. There could be a story about her, about a concert where something goes on with her skirt or something like that. I mean, it may be a lighthearted story where someone has some kind of fashion malfunction. But like the lights can be dimmed as well. This could be like a big power outage. This is exactly what this could be. Because of a weather event, we're looking at somewhere that had a big power outage. Could be quite possible. Or the power outage could be a leader who is replaced for some reason. On Friday, the word of the day is reveling. Yeah, reveling. Are people feeling joyful? I wrote the moon and Mercury retrograde are both at 13 degrees of Leo. What are people reading or watching that has them transfixed or shooketh? Inquiring minds want to know, is this something about the Epstein list? Is it something about something else? There's lots of talk about Mercury rules the hands over the last couple of days. The president's hand has a bruise and makeup on it, probably from him getting IVs. And so there's big talk about his health again. Yeah, this could be something about conversation. Like we see a picture of his hand or his leg or something like that, and people are, what's going on? Yeah, Mercury rules tubes of all kinds and tunnels of all kinds. Yeah, we'll see what happens. On Saturday, the word of the day is dusty. I'm getting the Dust Bowl imagery with Uranus and Gemini and the South Node in Virgo. Gemini is an air sign. Virgo is an earth sign. And with Mercury retrograde ruling them both, there can be problems with the air and the earth. We have a Virgo moon starting at 1:55 p.m. Pacific time, where the moon squares Uranus. So I could see like a lot of dust being kicked off. I wrote down, wear a gas mask if you're protesting. Like Uranus in Gemini can be like unexpectedly there's a tear gas in the air or something like that. But I'm really getting obscured air during this transit. So something is dusty. Now, dusty can also just be like this Virgo moon. You get up and like, oh my God, there's dust on this windowsill, and you just start cleaning or something like that. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes up under this Virgo moon. Virgo brings order to chaos, but it squares Uranus and Gemini. Like, or maybe mentally you suddenly feel this urge to clean things up or clean up some kind of communication or document, or shredding documents. I see. It'll be interesting to see how this week shows up in the collective, and who are the sacrificial lambs that we see? Is it MAGA? Is it something else? So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology in action stories about the week. Take care, and I will catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.